Welcome to English Through History. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe or leave us a review. It helps us to create more content, and it's appreciated by our small team here. Vlad III, also known as Vlad the Impaler, is one of history's darkest rulers. Cruel, cunning, and terrifying to cross, he ruled a harsh land surrounded by enemies throughout his life. Later, he is connected to the fictional character of Dracula, and his legend grew from there. In today's episode, we'll examine the origins of the man, how his legend grew, the world he inhabited, and we'll try and dispel some of the more prevalent myths. The lead up to the birth of Vlad the Impaler in the early 15th century was marked by political turbulence in the region of Wallachia, a principality located in what is now modern-day Romania. Vlad III was born around 1431 into a complex political landscape that significantly influenced the course of his life and his reign. During the 14th and 15th centuries, the Ottoman Empire under leaders like Murad II and Mehmed II sought to expand its influence into Eastern Europe. Wallachia found itself situated at the forefront of the Ottoman threat, and local rulers had to navigate a delicate balance between resistance and appeasement. Vlad's father, Vlad II Dracula, was an important figure in this geopolitical context. He sought to secure the loyalty of the Ottoman Empire to maintain stability in Wallachia. This loyalty was often expressed through the payment of tribute and sending of Wallachian nobility as hostages to the Ottoman court. Vlad II was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a chivalric order established to defend Christian Europe against the Ottoman Turks. The order played a role in shaping his political outlook and his alliances. The Order of the Dragon, officially known as the Societas Dragonistrium, the Society of the Dragonists, was a chivalric order founded in 1408 by Sigismund of Luxembourg, who was then the King of Hungary and later became the Holy Roman Emperor. The purpose of the order was to defend Christianity against the Ottoman Turks and protect the interests of Eastern Europe. The name Order of the Dragon likely derived from the dragon's symbol associated with St. George, the patron saint of soldiers and of chivalry. Members of the Order of the Dragon included European monarchs, princes, and high-ranking nobility. It was an exclusive and a prestigious order. The title Dracula itself, born by Vlad II and then subsequently by Vlad III, is derived from the Latin word Draco, meaning dragon, a reference to their membership in the Order of the Dragon. Despite his membership in the order, Vlad II's political decisions were often pragmatic, involving negotiations with both the Ottomans and the Hungarians to maintain a semblance of autonomy for Wallachia. Vlad III spent a significant part of his early life as a hostage in the Ottoman court, and this experience exposed him to the intricacies of Ottoman politics and likely influenced his later attitudes towards the Ottoman Empire. In 1442, when Vlad was around 11 years old, his father sent him and his younger brother Radu to the Ottoman court as hostages. As mentioned earlier, this was a common practice at the time to secure political alliances and prevent Wallachian rulers from rebelling against the Ottoman Empire. Vlad spent several years in captivity, experiencing the intricacies of Ottoman politics and witnessing the harsh realities of court life. Little is known about Vlad's formal education, but as a member of the nobility, he would have received training appropriate for his status. His time in the Ottoman court would have exposed him to different cultures, languages, and political ideologies. In 1447, Vlad II Dracula was assassinated, and his death is believed to be the result of political betrayal. His political adversaries, with potential backing from rival factions or external powers, may have played a role in his downfall. At this stage, Hungary played a crucial role in the politics of Wallachia during this period. The Hungarian monarchy often intervened in Wallachian affairs, supporting rulers who aligned with Hungarian interests. When Vlad III eventually returned to Wallachia and took the throne in 1448, it was with the support of Hungarian forces. However, his rule was short-lived, and he was forced into exile. He regained the throne in 1456, once again with Hungarian support, and continued to resist Ottoman expansion in the region. The political environment during Vlad III's formative years contributed to his understanding of power dynamics and the importance of maintaining a strong defense against external threats. His experiences with both Ottoman captivity and Hungarian-backed attempts to regain power shaped his leadership style, marked by a fierce determination to resist Ottoman dominance and assert Wallachian autonomy. Vlad III was a complex ruler. He blended cruelty with national security concerns. Using fear, he employed tactics that terrified his opponents and allowed him a psychological advantage over the Ottoman Turks, who were his sworn enemy. Militarily, Vlad III employed guerrilla warfare and scorched earth tactics to resist the Ottoman forces. He engaged in campaigns of psychological warfare, such as leaving fields of impaled bodies to intimidate the enemy. This notorious method of execution was impalement, where victims were skewered on long, sharp sticks. This practice was used as a means of instilling fear amongst his enemies and maintaining control over the population. It is estimated that thousands of people were impaled during his rule. Most notably, there was the Forest of the Impaled, in which allegedly Turkish soldiers entered the town and discovered thousands of impaled Ottoman soldiers, and this left them shaken and horrified. When it came to internal management, Vlad III is often credited with taking measures against corruption within his administration. He punished corrupt officials severely, reinforcing his image as a ruler who valued discipline and order. Vlad III implemented a strict legal code that aimed at maintaining order and punishing criminal activities. His punishments were notoriously harsh, including impalement for a wide range of offences. Vlad III's rule was characterized by multiple periods of ascension and then deposition. He first ruled in 1448, then regained the throne in 1456 with Hungarian support, and was finally overthrown in 1462. His rule was marked by political instability and constant struggles for power. Vlad III spent several years in exile, and he sought support from various external powers, including Hungary, to regain his throne. His alliances and his conflicts with neighboring states were complex and dynamic. His most important military campaign was fought against the Ottoman advance in 1462. Facing an impending Ottoman invasion led by Sultan Mehmed II, Vlad III adopted scorched earth tactics. He ordered the destruction of crops, the poisoning of wells, and the burning of villages, all to deprive the Ottoman army of resources and to create a hostile environment. He engaged in guerrilla warfare using hit-and-run tactics to harass and to weaken the Ottoman forces. His goal was to avoid direct confrontation with the larger and much better equipped Ottoman army, and knowing this, the psychological warfare became more and more important. One of the most famous episodes of Vlad's war against the Ottomans in 1462 is the night attack on the Ottoman camp. According to historical accounts, Vlad and a small group of soldiers infiltrated the Ottoman camp at night, creating chaos and confusion. The night attack resulted in significant casualties amongst the Ottoman forces, and it contributed to the psychological warfare tactics employed by him. Vlad's scorched earth tactics and guerrilla warfare posed logistical challenges for the Ottoman army. The lack of resources and the hostile environment affected the effectiveness of Mehmed II's campaign. Faced with difficulties in sustaining a prolonged campaign in Wallachia and potential threats elsewhere, Sultan Mehmed II decided to withdraw his forces. While Vlad's resistance did not permanently halt Ottoman expansion, it did significantly disrupt Mehmed II's campaign, and it slowed down the Ottoman advance in the region. However, we can't really talk about Vlad II without addressing the moniker of Impaler. Why did he do it? Were the numbers accurate? Historically, there is little doubt that he did indeed impale his victims. We spoke earlier about the psychological impact of that method on advancing Ottoman soldiers, and to some degree, the specific choice made by him to use impalement as a form of psychological warfare. Cruel, yes, but on some level understandable. Against an overwhelming force, any advantage would be useful. It served as both deterrent and to inspire fear. However, he didn't just use impalement on military enemies. Vlad was known to impale civilians as well. During his rule, he implemented strict laws, and any violation could result in severe punishment, including impalement. This harsh approach extended to common people, and Vlad was not hesitant to use extreme measures to maintain order. He also used this method against political rivals and disloyal nobility within Wallachia. This included members of the boyar class, the nobility of the region. Wallachia had a feudal social structure, and Vlad was part of the ruling elite. The boyars or nobility held significant influence in the region. Vlad's relationship with the boyars was often contentious, as he sought to consolidate power and control over both the nobility and the peasantry. The use of brutal punishment served as a tool for population control. It instilled fear amongst the people, discouraging dissent and rebellion. Finally, we can also address the comparison between Vlad and Dracula, a fictional vampire created by Bram Stoker. How much is inspired by Vlad III? Aside from the obvious similarities in terms of geographical location and setting, Dracula being from Transylvania in central Romania, there really aren't that many similarities between the two people. Bram Stoker is said to have drawn inspiration from the historical figure of Vlad Dracul when choosing a name for his vampire character, Count Dracula. The similarity to Vlad's name and certain historical details added a layer of historical and cultural symbolism to the fictional narrative. In fact, Stoker incorporated elements of Eastern European folklore, superstition, and horror into his novel, creating a Gothic tale of fear and supernatural intrigue. Stoker himself never associated Vlad with Dracula directly, instead drawing inspiration from a variety of sources, mythical, supernatural, and historical. Typically, Gothic horrors inspired Stoker, works like Frankenstein, for example, and often they contained elements like brooding castles, foreboding mountains, and supernatural animals. To conclude, we can dispel some of the myths around Vlad III. He has inspired many fictional accounts related to his rule and behavior. The nature of his reign and the type of warfare has often helped contribute to the legend, and exaggerations, of course, are common. Some of the most common are the drinking of the blood of his enemies. I have to say, in my research, I could find no account at all that mentions this. In fact, this could be one of the many associations with the fictional Dracula that was made after the publication of the novel. Another common element is being able to shapeshift or take the form of an animal. Again, in my research, I could find no evidence of this at all. And of course, it seems somewhat embellished, and usually any connection to the supernatural is without historical evidence. However, his night raids did inspire fear among the Ottomans, and it's possible that they associated soldiers appearing out of nowhere to be supernatural in origin rather than clever guerrilla warfare. His connection to the fictional Dracula later on also helped these myths to stick. There's no doubt that Vlad III ruled with a harsh land and was, in fact, a harsh ruler. If we look back with the standards of modern times, these can seem cruel and even sadistic. However, the period of time and the circumstances created this behavior as much as the man himself.